My name is Howie Schwartz. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Crowded. We're thrilled to be here, and we wanted to again thank Microsoft for hosting us. This is going to be just a great night. This is our fourth or fifth meetup that we've done, and I always start off with the same bad joke, which is, the room's crowded, which is why we named the company that. Again, it's wonderful that everyone's here. We have a great panel tonight that I'm going to ask to introduce themselves in a second, but I have to set a timer because apparently I was told my last panel was too long. So I'm going to try to fix that this evening to make sure that everyone has enough networking time. Great, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask the panelists to introduce themselves. Let's start with Darcy, and we're going to go all the way down. So your name, your title, what company you work with, and one fun fact about you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Darcy Bagnasco. I work here at Microsoft, and I lead recruiting for our New York enterprise divisions. I've been with Microsoft about 2 years. Fantastic company, and super excited to be here with you tonight. Fun fact. Went parasailing once, and the boat didn't move. So didn't have the experience of actually flying over Aruba with my family and I think a boy that I was trying to impress at the time. So kind of just dangled from the air and experienced parasailing in a very different manner than actual flying sensation. Leave it at that. Have a great time tonight.
One of the main things that we're trying to do at Crowded, and the reason why we do these meetups, is that we believe that even though everything that we do is happening in Crowded on your mobile device or through a chatbot, a conversational interface, what we realized is that there was a lot to gain and a lot of value that we could provide to the community by bringing people together in the physical world, which is kind of a different thing and a little odd these days. And this is also immensely helpful for us because the feedback that we get from our employers on the panels and the employers who attend and the candidates, all of you guys who come about your profiles and the type of trends that you're seeing really directs, our vision. So, I like to say that we gain as much from this meetup series as hopefully each of you will tonight. So one of the trends that we see is the concept of a disconnect between what the different levels of software developers would be. So one of the classic things that we hear, and raise your hand if you face this, where there's an entry level or a junior level developer position, and you read down it and it requires 10 years plus of experience. Raise your hand if you've experienced that. So that's, well over 3/4 of the room. So, it's hard in such a fragmented, industry to kind of standardize this, but we found that one of the ways that we can help the community at large is trying to get, sort of a better understanding of that, and that when we're doing matching, when an employer posts a job in Crowded, when we're doing matching and thinking about job recommendations and things like that, thinking about understanding the experience level is really important. So you may have all the right skills, but the experience level is really important. So I'd love to go down the panel. We're going to start with Darcy. So Darcy and Tyler are going to tag team the event for us tonight. So I may direct some questions to one or the other of you, but feel free again to jump in, Tyler or Darcy, if you'd like to add something to your colleagues. We're going to go straight down the panel to Aviva. Thank you. Okay. So your definition of what a junior developer is, number of years of experience, things like that.
It's always an interesting question when you look at a job description and it quantifies the years of experience in terms of a desired expectation. I think that there's value in that, in seeing kind of how many years experience, but more importantly, not how many quantitatively, what have you done in those years of experience? Can you articulate on an interview what you actually were working on and what kind of business solution did that offer? That's going to be key to kind of countermand. So my guidance on that topic is if you're falling a little short in terms of the years of experience, work around it and have supported examples of what you've done in even that shorter amount of time, whether that was what are you working on in college, or if you are working, what have you worked on to support that business, to kind of work around the quantitative ask. So hopefully that helps.
I'd love to hear about your recruitment process, and I know it could be a long conversation, so we'll try to condense it down into maybe even to include some of the timing and some of the steps. So someone starts and they fill out an application online. What's next? Is there a phone screen, in person? Sort of talk us through how someone gets hired in your firm, and maybe some timing in there too for each step.
We have global opportunities at Microsoft. Our volume is just huge. So we actually have a partnership function within our global talent acquisition world. So the sourcers are really the folks that are out in the field. Many of our sourcers work from home. Some of them might be working in their PJs, and they're all over LinkedIn, and they're finding great talent like yourselves out in the marketplace. And they're going to reach out to you. So many of you probably gotten LinkedIn emails or at meetups like this where a sourcer will come over to you and create a conversation, create a relationship. From there, if there's mutual interest and they'll ask you some screening questions, our process is that sourcer will then bring you as a strong candidate over to me on the recruitment side and my recruitment team. And we'll take kind of that second half of the recruit and lead you through the interview process, lead you through on-site interviews. To Charlie and Tyler's point, whiteboarding sessions is a big part of our interview day. We also, like Kayla, try to do it all in one day to use your time correctly, and that will involve meeting with different managers who will have different assignments in terms of what they're assessing. We'll give you a private conference room, let you take some breaks, let you check email. We'll give you lunch because I know food is super important, especially in the techie world, right? We want to keep everybody nice and nourished so you guys can create all the awesome things that you do. We do have a panel style interview as well. If you're interviewing for a sales role or a technical seller, which I can get into a little bit more later, that would involve what we do kind of a mock presentation where we'll put you in a conference room with the whiteboard and let you just go to town and code and show us what you can do. So all of that is kind of integrated. The one thing I wanted to mention is that right alongside of what we do fundamentally, to Charlie's point, we are asking for your feedback. How is your experience going with us? What can we be doing better? Talk comparatively in terms of what else you're interviewing for in the marketplace in terms of that process. We want to hear from you. We want to understand the experience. And the last part I'll mention that Microsoft is really focused on in terms of process is events like this. Satya Nadella feels very strongly about socializing our interview process as much as possible. So we have something called a Social 2.0 strategy that some of you may have heard about or can read about online. We do both small, mid, and large scale events at different venues globally where we'll invite you to just come network, food, drinks, learn about Microsoft, create those relationships with those hiring managers directly who attend those events. So you have a super opportunity to get right in there and kind of bypass my function a little bit and create those relationships, which certainly I know is probably sounding pretty appetizing at times to bypass the recruiter function. So I know that's a lot. Obviously, we have a lot going on at Microsoft in terms of our volume, but the most important thing for us is candidate experience and knowing that we're offering you a positive one.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of just quick answers. We're going to run down the panel, and I have a few different questions that's going to be at each stage. So Joe's giving me is that 4 or 5 minutes? Without my glasses, I can't see. All right, thank you for the 5 minutes. I can't see the difference. All right, so we're going to go really, really quickly. So we're going to start at the application step. And let's start with Darcy, and then we're going to go straight down. So give me one thing that a candidate can avoid in an application that immediately is just going to not get them to progress to the next step. Give me like one, I know there's a million things. Give me one example that everyone can go home and when they apply for a job tonight, not do that one thing. We're going to go straight down the panel really quick.
Sure. I'm going to take it back to my first recommendation on that application. Don't not offer what you've been working on. What's exciting? What have you been projecting? What is going on that you're working on? What have you offered value in that first paragraph? And it doesn't have to be literature. I actually prefer them to be short, to be honest. Just a couple of bullets about what you're working on. Don't have it be, I'm a team player, please hire me. I'm the best person you'll ever hire. That's not going to do it. We have to have some nitty-gritty. Talk like yourself. What's cool, what's creative, what are you working on? And that will capture the eye of the resume reviewer.
We're going to just do one quick funny example. So give us something crazy that happened on a screening phone call that you suggest someone never does. So they got through the application, and now they're on a call with you, and something was said or something happened, and you're like, oh my God, and then, that no one in the room should do.
Self-awareness and choices of wording, particularly on interviews, is key. Just listening to the other person, but thinking before you respond, and just using appropriate choices of words. Leave profanity outside of an interview, and just watch the casual wording.